Did you know that over 62% of engine failures reported to U.S. auto shops happen within the first 1,000 miles after an oil change? And most of them are caused by simple mistakes drivers didn't even realize they made. Mechanics warn that one tiny oversight after an oil change can turn your smooth-running engine into a knocking, leaking, overheating nightmare faster than you think. Today, we are going to expose the most dangerous mistakes drivers make right after changing their oil. Stay with me because the last mistake is the one that ruins more engines in America than anything else on this list. Let's get started. Mistake number 11, driving off without checking the oil level. One of the most common mistakes drivers make right after an oil change is assuming everything is perfect and immediately driving off. But even a small miscalculation, such as adding too little or too much oil, can instantly damage your engine. If the level is low, the oil pump starts sucking air instead of lubricating metal parts, and that friction can cause rod bearings to fail in minutes. Too much oil is just as dangerous because it foams up, loses lubrication ability, and can flood the engine's PCV system. Mechanics warn that even professional shops sometimes leave your oil a full quart low. According to U.S. shop reports, 1 in every 20 cars leaves an oil change bay with a level error. That's why you should always pull out the dipstick, wipe it, check it again, and confirm it is sitting between the 2 marks before starting the engine. This 10-second check prevents thousands in repairs. Mistake number 10, ignoring leaks or drips under the car. After an oil change, one loose drain plug or a misaligned gasket can instantly turn your engine into a ticking time bomb. U.S. repair shops report that nearly 18% of post-oil change breakdowns are caused by slow leaks drivers never noticed. A crushed oil filter gasket can dump the entire oil supply in under 2 minutes. A drain plug that wasn't torqued properly can slowly drip until your oil light flickers. But at that point, your bearings are already being damaged. Always check under the car before leaving the shop. If you see even a single fresh drop of oil, do not drive another inch until it is inspected. Tiny drips turn into huge repair bills. Mistake number 9, driving hard immediately after the oil change. Right after an oil change, most drivers think the engine is fresh and ready for action. But this is exactly when you should not push the car hard. Fresh oil needs a few minutes of circulation to fully coat the crankshaft, camshaft, piston rings, bearings, and timing components. When you start driving aggressively the moment you leave the shop, the oil pump may not have fully stabilized pressure, especially during cold starts. U.S. mechanics say that almost 35% of post-oil change failures happen because the driver revved the engine before the new oil fully reached operating viscosity. This creates dry friction for a few seconds. That is just enough to scar bearings and reduce engine life over time. You should always let the engine idle for 1 to 2 minutes or drive gently until the temperature reaches normal. Mistake number 8, forgetting to reset the oil maintenance light. You might think the maintenance light will reset itself, but it won't. U.S. dealership service records show that over 35% of drivers run their oil longer than recommended simply because their maintenance light wasn't reset. If the system thinks your oil is old, it will give you false warnings and throw off your entire maintenance schedule. Some modern cars even adjust fuel mixture and engine timing based on oil life data. Forgetting to reset it means your next oil change may be thousands of miles too late, causing dirty oil to circulate much longer than intended. Mistake number 7, not listening for strange noises. After the service, right after an oil change, your engine should sound smoother than before. If you hear ticking, knocking, or louder than usual valve noise, that is a red flag. Many drivers ignore early noises thinking the engine just needs to settle. But engines do not need to break in after an oil change. Any strange sound right afterward is a mechanical warning. U.S. auto shops report that nearly 14% of post-oil change engine failures could have been prevented if the driver caught the noises early. A ticking sound may mean the oil isn't circulating fast enough. A knocking sound could mean low pressure or the wrong viscosity. These noises never, ever fix themselves. They are early warning alarms that your engine is in trouble, and catching them in the first minute can save your bearings, camshafts, and thousands of dollars in repairs. After an oil change, always start the engine, open the hood, and listen. Your ears can save your engine. Mistake number 6, over-tightening the oil filter or drain plug. One of the most engine-killing mistakes drivers and even inexperienced mechanics make after an oil change is over-tightening the oil filter or the drain plug. Most people assume tighter is better, but in reality, this is one of the fastest ways to damage the engine, oil pan, or filter housing. In the US, oil pan thread repairs cost drivers over $190 million every year, mostly due to over-tightened drain bolts. When you tighten it too hard, you destroy the aluminum threads. And once that happens, you're looking at oil pan replacement, not a simple fix. Same with filters. Crushing the rubber gasket causes leaks, pressure drops, and even filter blowouts. Always follow proper torque specs. Hand tighten the filter, then give it the recommended fraction turn, and tighten the drain plug only to the manufacturer's specified torque. Mistake number 5, using the wrong oil viscosity or type. This mistake destroys more engines in the US than any other oil-related mistake. Mechanics across the US report that over 27% of cars arrive for repair with the wrong oil viscosity in the engine. Modern engines are built with microscopic tolerances, variable valve timing, turbochargers, high-pressure fuel pumps, and sensitive hydraulic systems that depend on the exact oil thickness the manufacturer specifies. When you pour in the wrong oil, like 10W40 in an engine designed for 0W20, it won't flow fast enough on cold starts, which is when 80% of engine wear happens. Too thick oil starves the upper engine, delays lubrication, and causes lifters to tick and chains to rattle. Too thin oil, on the other hand, breaks down under heat and fails to protect under high loads, especially in turbo engines where temperatures exceed 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Always follow the oil grade printed on your oil cap or manual. Modern engines are engineered with microscopic tolerances. Oil thickness is not optional. Mistake number 4, not securing the oil cap and dipstick. You would be shocked how many engines get damaged simply because the oil cap wasn't tightened. US mechanics say loose oil caps account for more than 6% of post-oil change engine complaints. When that cap is loose, oil splashes out, coats sensors, burns on the exhaust, and creates vacuum leaks. A dipstick that isn't fully seated can pull unfiltered air into the crankcase, messing up fuel mixture and triggering rough idle issues. After the oil change, always double-check the cap clicks and the dipstick is secure. Mistake number 3, driving long distances immediately after service without rechecking. Another overlooked mistake is taking a long highway drive right after an oil change and not rechecking the oil level after the first 20 to 50 miles. Fresh filters can absorb a bit of oil, and minor leaks show up only when the engine is fully warm and under load. If something wasn't tightened properly, the car may lose oil faster than you expect. Many US tow truck companies say that they frequently rescue cars that break down hours after a service because drivers didn't make a quick recheck. Mistake number 2, letting old oil residue burn on the engine. Letting old oil residue burn on the engine is one of those silent mistakes that drivers never think about, yet it destroys engines faster than you'd imagine. After an oil change, tiny drops of oil often spill onto the valve cover, exhaust manifold, or heat shields. Many drivers ignore it thinking, it is just a little smoke. But that smoke is actually a warning sign that the oil is cooking at extreme temperatures. When oil burns, it turns into a thick carbon crust that traps heat inside the engine bay, slowly raising the operating temperature by several degrees. US mechanics report that engine bay hotspots caused by burnt oil residue contribute to nearly 11% of premature gasket failures and cracked plastic components. Mistake number 1. Reusing old oil filters or wrong filter gaskets. Reusing an old oil filter is one of the quickest ways to destroy your engine. Yet many drivers and even some shady mechanics do it to save a few dollars. An oil filter is designed to trap metal shavings, carbon sludge, and microscopic dirt particles that circulate through the engine. Once it becomes saturated, it enters bypass mode, meaning your engine is literally running on unfiltered oil. When you reuse an old filter, you are forcing all the contaminated debris it already caught back into circulation. That increases friction, accelerates bearing wear, scratches cylinder walls, and can even clog tiny oil passages in modern engines. A new filter costs $5 to $12, but a new engine costs $4,000 to $8,000. Reusing an oil filter is not saving money. It is a time bomb ticking under your hood. That's all for this video. Those are the mistakes you should never make after an oil change, especially now that you know how many US engines fail because of them. If this video opened your eyes, smash that like button, subscribe for more mechanic-approved tips, and tell me in the comments which oil brand you trust in your car. See you in the next video.